Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of one of 3 football game plan books: What Did Football Teach Me?, Football: A Love Story, and Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find them on our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Let's start off with some keys to victory for both teams in this ball game. Looking at the Minnesota Vikings, I'm a big fan of defensive coordinator George Edwards and what he's doing with this Vikings defense. This is a strength versus weakness matchup in this contest. You look at the Vikings' third down defense being excellent and the Browns' third down offense being one of the league's worst. So it's up to them to make sure this is not the game the Browns get it going on offense, especially on third downs. They have to find ways to create pressure to keep a rookie quarterback and offense as a whole struggling on third downs. Offensively speaking, you want to make them pay for being over-aggressive. I do love the aggressiveness of Greg Williams, but at times it can leave them susceptible to screen plays, traps, draws, those things of that nature on offense. And I think the Vikings have the unique playmaker in Jerick McKinnon that can make the Browns pay. So that's what they have to do on offense. Also, I believe they have to own the middle of the field. The Browns defense will tend to dictate where you go with the football. So there's going to be some opportunities for the Vikings to have some success over the middle of the field if they're willing to make those plays and take those shots that they're going to see from linebackers and safety. So you have to make sure you own the middle of the field if you want to sustain drives and help move the football down the field against the Browns defense. Moving over to the Browns in this ball game, they have to understand that it's one team, same ship. Not one person is responsible for a team's success or failure. And if a guy is struggling, it's up to the next individual to ask, what can I do to help out the next man? And that goes for a quarterback helping out receivers that drop the ball, receivers helping out a quarterback that may be struggling with accuracy, offensive line helping out a running back who's struggling, or a running back helping out an offensive line that's struggling by superseding subpar blocking, or even coaches helping out by putting guys in position to succeed. All of that goes a long way in overcoming adversity and playing winning football. Now, with all that said, it's up to the Browns to feature your playmakers. Offensively, that's Duke Johnson. That's those 2 tight ends, David Njoku and Seth DeValve. Right now, I think they're better at tight end than they are at wide receiver. At least they are much more consistent at tight end and have 2 dynamic playmakers. And when you have one tight end, you're very tough to defend. If you have 2, it's next to impossible. They also have a guy in Duke Johnson that can do a lot of different things as a receiver and also as a runner, but you have to keep him on the field at all times. So I think if they can feature their playmakers, it will help DeShone Kizer look a lot better as a rookie. Defensively, it's about staying active at the line of scrimmage. The Browns do a great job of causing a lot of issues within the pocket for opposing quarterbacks. Case Keenum right now is playing some good football, but he tends to flatline his passes, which means they can get tipped at the line of scrimmage, which also means the Browns could generate an easy turnover. So staying active at the line of scrimmage puts you in position to get stops on third downs. The biggest X factor for the Vikings, I believe, is quarterback Case Keenum, who's played solid football since he's been inserted into the lineup. He's been efficient, he's been effective, he's helped keep this offense on schedule, and it's a big reason why they're having a lot of success on offense. For the Browns to look at the tight end position, I think, again, this is where they're strongest offensively in the passing game. Utilize those 2 tight end sets to give the Vikings fits, both in the running game and also in the passing game. David Njoku, Seth DeValve are excellent receiving options and are also improving as blockers. So keep those 2 guys on the field. It can really help their passing game flourish in this matchup. If we're being honest, the key matchup in this ball game is DeShone Kizer versus himself. This is a guy that has shown the ability to make every throw on the football field, decisive throw, accurate throw, any throw that you want a quarterback to make. He's also shown a propensity to turn the ball over inside the red zone. That's a no-no in any level of football. That will get you benched. I completely understand that. So it's up to him to make sure he gets out of his own head, play winning football that we saw him play at Notre Dame, play positive football that we saw him play in the preseason. And if he can do that, they have a great chance in knocking off Minnesota. It's safe to say you can go ahead on and start Jerick McKinnon of the Minnesota Vikings if you have him on your fantasy team. This is a guy that can do it all as a runner and also as a receiver and has the speed and explosive ability to make an aggressive defense pay. I would probably stay away from Kyle Rudolph, the tight end. I think the Browns will do a solid job this week in containing the tight ends. It will be the other receivers that I think can have a big day against this Browns secondary. And for Cleveland, I would go ahead on and start running back Duke Johnson. They're in job security mode right now, which means you're going to start to see their playmakers get the football a lot, and Duke is similar to Jerick McKinnon and what he can do from a totality standpoint coming out of the backfield. I would stay away from the Browns defense and special teams. In my opinion, they're a bit banged up coming into this ball game, so they're going to be without some of their key players. Stay away from that side of the ball. So if you have another defense, I will go that route or stream another option instead of playing the Browns defense and special teams this week. If you play fantasy football, you won't want to miss me giving you some excellent fantasy football advice to help you win your games and ultimately your league. Check out the Lineup Lock live show on the Fantasy Sports Network every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Download the Fantasy Sports Network app as well as the Fantasy Sports Radio app. You can also watch us on YouTube Live by visiting the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube page at youtube.com/FNTSY Sports Network. I like the Vikings in this ballgame. They're playing complete football right now. Offensively, they're efficient, they're effective, they're operating well on both ends of offense, and defensively, they're getting off the field on third downs, they're generating turnovers, and they're getting key stops when they need them to put their offense back on the field. So I think they take care of business across the pond in London.